From the perspective of Chinese officials and media, the Trump administration's application of visa restrictions on Chinese students, including those admitted to prestigious schools like Harvard, is a clear reflection of the escalating geopolitical competition between Washington and Beijing. This policy is not seen by Beijing as a single move stemming from security concerns, but as part of a more comprehensive U.S. strategy to hinder China's development of science, technology and education, pillars that the Chinese government considers key to the China Dream and its long-term development strategy until 2049. Chinese state media, especially opinion-oriented agencies such as the People's Daily, Xinhua News Agency or Global Times, have reacted strongly and described this U.S. action as a clear manifestation of the New Cold War mindset, in which the U.S. not only confronts China militarily or economically, but also seeks to block all paths of China's development in terms of intelligence and science. China sees students sent abroad to study, especially at the world's leading intellectual centers such as Harvard, Stanford, MIT or Yale, as an elite group that plays a key role in enhancing the country's technological innovation and creativity. The U.S. banning or making things difficult for this group means directly targeting China's talent training and nurturing system, an action that Beijing sees as having a deep strategic motive, far beyond the framework of a normal visa policy. Not only that, in internal reports and academic commentaries by Chinese scholars, the student ban policy is also analyzed as part of the controlled decoupling strategy that Washington is pursuing with the goal of restructuring the global knowledge and technology supply chain to exclude China from the global innovation system dominated by the West. According to policymakers in Beijing, the U.S. is seeking to form a closed technology circle with allies such as Japan, South Korea, Australia, Germany, etc., while pushing China out, both to prevent technology leakage and to isolate China from the international talent training network. The student ban is one step in that chain of actions, blocking the flow of intellectuals into the U.S., hindering China's access to advanced academic platforms, and indirectly weakening China's strategic competitiveness in areas such as AI, cybersecurity, quantum science, and biotechnology. From a geostrategic perspective, Chinese officials believe that this policy reflects deep-seated U.S. concerns about the prospect of China becoming a technological superpower. In the statements of high-ranking officials such as the foreign minister, the spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the advisors to President Xi Jinping, one can see a consistent argument. America is weakening its ability to maintain a unipolar state, and the shift to a comprehensive containment policy against China is a sign of a power retreating in the face of the rise of a potential rival. Instead of cooperation and joint development, Washington has chosen to erect barriers, including in the field of education, which is considered one of the last symbols of openness and freedom. This, in Beijing's view, has exposed the America First strategy of Trump's foreign policy, a doctrine that puts U.S. national interests above all universal values, including the right to access knowledge for international students. China's response is not limited to the media front. In fact, Beijing has been implementing a series of counter-policies to reduce its dependence on the Western education system. China's heavy investment in key universities such as Tsinghua, Peking, and Fudan, along with programs to attract returning students such as the Thousand Talents Plan, shows that China is preparing for a long-term scenario in which Chinese students will have increasingly fewer opportunities to access the U.S. academic system. At the same time, China is also strengthening educational cooperation with countries outside the Western Alliance, such as Russia, Iran, African countries, and Southeast Asia, in order to build a knowledge exchange network with its own unique identity, separate from the US-led model. In short, in the view of Chinese officials and media, the Trump administration's ban on international students, especially Chinese students, enrolling in top educational institutions such as Harvard is not simply an administrative or security measure. It is a strategic attack on China's development structure, reflecting the comprehensive nature of the geopolitical competition between the two superpowers. It is also a wake-up call for China about the need for intellectual autonomy, technological self-reliance, and freedom from dependence on the education system. the West, a trend that will likely reshape the global academic power map in the coming decades.